Hey everyone, my name is Bhavesh and today we are starting with our React series. So we will keep the lecture first very simple, just introducing you how the React works. So let's kickstart our React journey. So objectives of this course will be, first we will try to know what exactly React is. Okay, we will try to understand why we should use React, what it will be, what will the benefits of using it, right? Then we will move towards the JSX syntax. So basically you will learn how to write the HTML in the newer way. Okay, so we can write HTML and also cannot. So both are true. That we call is JSX, something that we will learn today. Okay, next is function components. So in HTML we call the things elements, right? H1 tag, p tag, right? Anchor tag, a lot of these things, right? Here in the React everything is a component, right? So we will learn what components are and how they render, and today we will build our the first React component. Okay, so that's the objectives of this particular lecture. Okay, so first let's start with what is React. It's a JavaScript library to build beautiful and complex user interfaces. Okay, it is, what are the characteristics of it is very fast. So basically what happens is it updates the UI very fast or very smooth, building a better user experience. So how it do is it have a thing called virtual DOM. Okay, so what exactly virtual DOM is? It is just a replica, or you can say blueprint of the real DOM. Okay, what is real DOM is? So what happens is your website is maintained in the browser in a structure we call DOM tree. So here you can see, here we have div tag, this is the parent tag. Inside this we have 3 child div tags, then we have one span, then we have one more span, right? So this is we call a DOM tree. So what happens is React makes a exactly replica of it, calling it virtual DOM. Okay, so whenever we make a change in this virtual DOM, for example I added a span tag, right? So what React does is React differentiate between the real DOM and the virtual DOM, what is differing. Okay, so it updates only the differing part. Okay, not the whole code, it just updates the differing part in the real DOM. That makes it very fast. Another characteristic of React is it's a component based. So what is the benefit of being a component based is, and what I mean by that is, we can build the complex UIs very smoothly. Okay, and we can remake the code more reusable. So for example, imagine it as a Legos, right? Lego building blocks. So we can have similar type of Legos, we can have different types of Legos, right? So we can reuse them, we can attach them with each other to make final product, right? To make beautiful architectures, beautiful structures we want with the help of Legos, right? So Legos are reusable because of the similar kind of Legos available, and we can build complex toys with the help of Legos by using different kind of Legos, right? So that's what exactly React is. We have a different kind of components available, and we can use whichever component for whatever purpose. Okay, so we can combine all the components and reuse a single component as many times as we want. That is the benefit of a component based structure, and that's what React provides us. Next, React is a declarative language. What I mean by declarative is, you just tell how the UI you want it to be. You just tell it, right? You don't need to do every step. Okay, so for example, let's say take an example of a construction and you have to build a wall, right? In JavaScript we put a brick by brick. Basically we tell everything to the programming language that first put this brick, then put this brick, then put this brick, right? We tell all the steps one by one. Basically we have to perform X number of steps to perform an operation. To build an UI we have to perform X number of operations. But in React you just say I want to build a wall. It's like a modular structure nowadays we use to build buildings, right? The wall will become ready-made and we will just put it there, right? So similarly you can see in the image, that's what React is. React is more modular. You just have to tell the steps. Basically you have to tell what UI you want and the UI will get built. Basically React will take care of all the small steps you had to do with the JavaScript to manipulate the DOM. Here we don't have to do that, right? That is the benefit of a React. So it's a declarative, basically it's a one way. Okay, just tell the UI you want it to be and it will get built, right? It will take care of a lot of things. Okay, let's move further then. Fun facts. So, you know how React started? It was an integral problem in the Facebook. So basically, Facebook used to run ads, and it is getting very, very complex to maintain those ads. So someone in the Facebook, a person on Jordan Walke, tried to solve this internal problem of the Facebook via building the React and named it as FaxJS initially in 2011. So there was no intention to build something like that which will get used in web development completely. Basically, that will change the how we build web apps, right? So intention was to solve an internal problem in the Facebook, and we built FaxJS, and Facebook finally liked it a lot and open sourced it in finally in 2013, right? So something from the integral problem of the Facebook is now the face of web development, right? That's something interesting. Okay, so that's how the React started in 2011 and got open source in 2013. Okay, so I know we can use VS Code terminal to build the React app, right? But I don't want you guys to unnecessarily go into the complex steps of building a React app in the first step itself, right? When we have a lot of online tools available to write the React code, why to do all the complex things immediately, right? We will do that, but let's do it on a later end. Let's directly jump into the code by building a React app on Stackblitz. Okay, so I have Stackblitz opened here. My Stackblitz is right. So you can open the Stackblitz very easily. What you have to do is just search Stackblitz React, and here it is. Okay, so you will open this website and the Stackblitz React will open. Okay, that's simple as this. Now let's understand a little bit about the folder structure of the React. Okay, so this is the folder structure. Here in the public, we keep all the images, all the public media assets, all the public assets you want on your website. For example, images, logos, videos, XYZ things, right? This is our source folder. This is the main folder we work in, right? So forget about everything else. Just focus on the source folder. This is where we will exactly working. This is the entry file. This is the entry file of the React where our code will start, right? Similar to the main function in Java, right? So here from here, the actual code will start. So forgot about this code as well. It will always render the app, right? It have few use cases, but we will discuss that later on. But it always render the app, see, app, right? So app.js becomes our main file from where we will start writing our code, from where we will start rendering our components, right? Again, what is a component? Doesn't care, man, right? It's just going to be simpler in the future, lecture by lecture, right? And this is the style.css where we will write our global CSS, global stylings, right? And this is our app.js. It is importing style.css, basically similar to our link href is equal to this relation is equal to style sheet, right? So how we will link an external CSS file in the HTML, we here link an external CSS file in React like this. Okay, that's the change of the code, but everything remains same. Okay, forgot about that. Let's build our first structure in the React. Okay, so here you will find we are exporting a default function app. Okay, I will write it again for better clarity. We are exporting. In fact, don't think about export also. Just think about creating a function named as app. Okay, and forgot about what export do. I will do it in the last, but forget about it for now. Just focus on this one, function app. Okay. So whatever this function will return, that will get built on the UI, as simple as this. And we can return our HTML from here, h1 tag /h1. We used to do hello world, but React is going to be our world now. So hello React. Nice, as simple as this. So on the right hand side, you can see the UI, right? It is crisp and very, very clear. So we can return our HTML directly from here, and that will directly get rendered on the UI. Right, so whatever we will return from this app component, we will get rendered on the user interface. Okay, it is as simple as this. What is the limitation here is we cannot render two elements like this. Okay, so we will have to wrap it into a single tag. Basically, we can return only a single element always. So for now, we can use the div tag for that. Like this. Cool. You cannot return two h1s without wrapping it into a something else, right? It's not compulsory to be a div, something else. Basically, you can return only a single element. Now, the single element can have as many children as you want, but you cannot return multiple elements from a component. That's the rule in the React we have to follow. So rule number 1, you got clear that you cannot return multiple elements from a React component. Okay, so here we got hello React, my name is Bhavish. So this is how simple it is to render the React component, and this is what we call a functional component because it's a function based. See, we created a function, as simple as this. We created a function, it's a function component because it's a function based component. Okay, so it is as simple as this to render a component. Now moving further, JSX, what JSX is. So it's a, in terms of writing, it's a mixture of writing HTML and JS, right? So we used to write HTML, we already have an habit to write the HTML, right? But mixing it with the JavaScript, right, will build you the JSX content. It's generally JavaScript plus XML, but here in our case, we will call it HTML plus JavaScript, okay? Okay, so let's move further. So imagine I created a variable const element. Okay. Now I can put HTML directly on this variable. Who can imagine? I don't need to add some string or something. I just can say h1. Hey, how are you? As simple as this. I just can put the element, basically the HTML directly on a variable and can use the variable directly here with the help of curly braces. In fact, just forget about the curly braces for now. I can return the element directly from here. That's it. Hey, how are you? Got rendered, right? So what I did, I put it an HTML element on a variable here and then returned the variable directly to render the UI. This is what JSX is. This is a mixture of your JavaScript and HTML both. Here, what you're seeing is an HTML, right? Here, what you're seeing is a JavaScript, right? So that's what your JSX looks like. This is the simplest example of JSX I can give to you guys, right? Sorry. Okay. Okay, let's do some few more examples. Okay, I hope so this example is clear to you guys. Let's move to some another example. Dynamic content using curly braces. So imagine I have some structure like this here. And I want my element here inside this. So what you can do is you can use curly braces, just the curly braces, to put any variable in between the HTML. In between the HTML, you can use curly braces. For more example, let's say I created a variable name and I put my name here. My name is Bhavesh. And then I create one more element. Let's name it element 2. And I put here, hey, my name is. Now I can use the variable directly here using the curly braces and just close the element here. See? So if I render the element 2 instead of 1, hey, my name is Bhavesh. Right? So inside the HTML, if you have to put something dynamic, inside your HTML syntax, if you have to put something dynamic, you can put with the help of the curly braces. Inside the curly braces, you can put any JavaScript variable or JavaScript code as you want. Right? Inside the curly braces, we can write our JavaScript code as simple as this. Right? It can be variables, it can be ternary operator, it can be anything else. Totally choice is ours. Right? Okay, so this is how we render the dynamic variables, dynamic values inside the HTML content with the help of the JavaScript in React. Okay, so that's the second example of the JSX. Okay, let's take the last example in the JSX. So in HTML, we used to use classes, IDs, basically attributes in the tags, right? Attributes with some tag. For example, h1 tag, will have an attribute, right? So here in JS, first of all, the attributes must be in camel case. You know the camel case. Basically, the next letter starts with an hump. For example, class name, so N will be capital. For example, Bhavesh Bansal, B will be capital, right? For example, JavaScript, S will be capital. If Java and script are separate, then it is true. Okay. So, for example, AlgoXJs, so X and J will be capital, right? So this is how the camel casing works. Okay, so whenever next word is going to start, the first letter of that word will be capital, except the first one. Okay, so all the attributes in React for any tag will be written in the camel case format. Okay, first thing, few attributes name got changed. The simplest one is the class. So class is now class name, not just class. Class is now class name. So if I have to give this tag a class, let's make it more simple. So just forget about the dynamicity for now. Return h1 tag with the class name to be heading, and we will say hello React and closing our h1 tag. Right, so it's have a class heading. Okay, so even we will inspect this out. See, it have a class heading, but in React we have to write the class name. We have to write the class name, not just class, right? And that too in camel case. That too in camel case to give it a class, right? Now let's try to do some CSS with it. If I go to the CSS and I say, what was the class name? Dot heading, and let's give it a color red. Will it be applicable? Dot heading color red. Let's save this. HEADING app.js, class name is heading. Just give a second. It's not working. So style.css is imported, but it's not working. Yeah, so I understood it. I wrote it into the string format instead of like this. So yeah, our color got red. Okay, so this is how we can write the CSS in React. Just write your style.css and import it like this. Import ./style.css, as simple as this, and you can give the classes like this. Now on any class you can put the styles as you want, just like HTML. It is as simple as this. Nothing to worry about it, right? Okay. So this is just attributes in the JSS attributes will be in the camel case. Okay, so let's try to build our first component. So the first component should look like this: a bot, and then the name of the bot, let's say Alice, then the age of the bot, that will be 30, right? So for this, what I will do, I will first create an object name as user. So I will just comment this out. What I will do is I will create an object. In fact, let me just delete it out, man. Okay, so what I will do, const, everything is written in the notes. Okay, so don't worry about it. So here we will have the name, Alice, and we will have the age, that is, let's say 30. Then we want an image of the bot, so we will get the image from the Google bot. So here it is. I will just copy image address and I will paste it here. Yeah, so we have the user bot here. Now what we will do, we will return, we will create a div tag, because we have to add multiple things now. So I will make the div tag as the parent. Inside this, first I will render the image. So for image we have the img tag, as simple as the HTML. Then we have the source attribute. Inside the source attribute we will have user.image. See, we can use the JavaScript variable like this. So we got the image. Next we want the name of the bot, so I will put that into the h1 tag, and to use the name, just curly braces, user.name. We will get the Alice as well. See, we got the Alice. Next we will use p tag for age. So what I will do, first I will write age here like this, and then I will say user.age. In fact, I can do name for name also, name like this, right? Now I want this height of the bot to be little smaller. So what I can do is I can give it a class name if we need. So I will give it a bot image. This is the class. And now I will go to the style.css. I will say dot bot hyphen name image. And I will say height to be 200, width to be 200 pixels. My bad. Yeah, so if I save it, this is my final code look like, and we have the same UI as we wanted here, right? So we have built it. This is our first React function component, right? So this is basically, I wanted you to tell more about JSX, how you can render the HTML in React but dynamically. So dynamically rendering things become very, very easy, right? Just create the variables and use them directly into your HTML using the curly braces. So that's the thing changed. Remember the class name thing. Remember, you cannot render a single multiple HTML elements without wrapping into a parent element, right? So you have to just take care of few things, right? So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining this lecture, for watching this lecture till late. If you are still watching, right, I hope so you guys enjoyed it, and I hope so we will continue learning. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.